Hey you guys, so today I'm just gonna do a chit chat video talking about a bunch of shit, and also I want to show you guys my PSD two-piece outfit. So this is a two-piece outfit. Let me know if you guys like this set. I have it in two colors. I have it in red, and then this is in yellow. So this is the front, guys, and I'm gonna turn around just this way so you can see the back, how the back looks, guys. So you guys, this is me without no makeup on, and I'm going to talk about a topic that I feel like everybody should know. So I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of the nightlife, because I see a lot of people talk about all this glamorous stuff about the nightlife, and me, in my opinion, I have my own, doubts and stuff about it. So for instance, the pros, of course, is good. You make fast money. Everybody say, it's tax-free money and everything. You get to buy it with the customers, but people don't talk about the cons. Okay, so the cons is very serious, and I feel like this is a serious topic to talk about. Like, for instance, you deal with, weird customers in the club. Like, for instance, a lot of entertainers, they're not treated with respect when they're working nightlife. I don't know why, because, a lot of people assume that a lot of entertainers have, like, low IQ or not smart at all, don't have an education, because there are a lot of entertainers that go to high school and then they drop out, end up getting a GED, or if they go that route, then they're just gonna end up just going to, be an entertainer. So that's probably why a lot of, and I'm not gonna lie, there are a lot of girls who don't have that type of education. But then maybe I would say like 30% of the girls that do entertain, they actually do go to school. Like myself, they go to school and they pursue a career that they want to be, because like I said, the nightlife is not a permanent job, and it shouldn't be a permanent job. It should just be a job where you're able to stack up some money and you're able to open up a business. Some people even go into real estate, but that's not for everyone, because you have to be a great customer service person. You have to know how to talk. That's not for everyone. And then some people, they, like I said, they end up having their own business. Like, they open up their own clothing line. Some people start doing makeup. Makeup is a passion. Yeah, it's a skill that you have to do. Makeup. Some people end up going into doing hair. They go to beauty school. They end up doing hair, makeup, and nails. So like, you come up with a skill that you're able to do. I used to go to fashion industries in New York, and I love designing clothes, and that still is my passion as of today. I just don't have a sewing machine, to start sewing clothes, and that's my passion. But as far as the club, okay guys, I talk too much. So the cons, like I said, you deal with the customers, like some of them, you deal with, like me, I dealt with trauma. Like, you have a customer where they will call you over, they want you to dance, and I'm very friendly in the club. They'll call you over, maybe I'll give it like a good little, I'll dance for like a good little, I'll give it a good little, maybe 5 minutes to dance and see what they're about, what they're doing. I'm not gonna rush and say, oh, are you gonna tip me and stuff like that. But it's one time, some customers will play you, like, you could dance for like 10 minutes. If you tell them how much you charge for a song, right? They have you dancing for so long, and then after you're done dancing, they don't end up tipping you, you know what I'm saying? So now, like, you have this thing where you have to tell the customers they gotta tip you before the dance, because sometimes customers do that to a lot of girls, and and that's not right, but the way, that's another con. You lose out on some money on dancing, and sometimes the club don't even care, because honestly, all nightclubs, they just care about the liquor. Of course, the bar has to sell. They care about the bar, so they can up price. If you come in as a customer, they charge you a lot, they don't care. or as a dancer, they may charge you. Another thing about entertainers, I like to say the word entertainers. When you have to pay to come to work, so we're not just coming in to look pretty. And you know, I don't know, a lot of customers think that, but we actually do pay a fee to come to work. So once we pay that fee and we get ourselves together in a locker room, we're on the floor, we're basically working, you know. But people don't really understand that process. So you have customers that deal with, you know, wasting a lot of entertainer times. So the con is, like, you may lose out on tips because, again, you deal with customers that don't want to tip you, and then the club don't really care, because as long as the customer is buying the drink, they don't care if the customer tip a dancer or not. And honestly, a customer doesn't necessarily have to tip a dancer or not. It's supposed to be genuinely. But I feel like when you're in that type of environment, you can't, you know what I'm saying? I like to make a customer feel comfortable. So me and I's feeling comfortable to make them even want to tip me, versus like some dancers be all aggressive saying, "Are you gonna tip me?" I like to feel the vibe and have a conversation, you know. And me, like I just said, I think in one of my earlier videos, I think it was a Q&A, I said that I go off of energy, guys, and that is really true. I do go off of energy in the club. Now, you may have times where some customers just not feeling you. You know, the cons is you will get rejected. That's the second thing. Rejection, guys. Nobody never talks about this stuff. Everybody talks about the glamorous stuff and all that. You get rejected a lot, and you could be the baddest dancer. I don't care. No one's not perfect. Everybody gets rejected. And you have to know how to handle rejection, guys, because rejection, it's a normal part of working the nightlife. I get rejected a lot, you know. And then here's a lot of things when you know you're rejected. Some customers are not going to come off bold. The main word when you know that you're rejected is when they say, "I'm chilling." So don't take that the wrong way. I'm chilling can mean a lot of things. You know, I explained that to someone before. They could just be like, "I'm chilling." They just come to, you know, to have a drink and that's it and leave. They're not into like spending money. And you have a lot of customers that's like that. They're not into spending money. You know what I'm saying? They're into watching the game, the sports game. You know, they treat it like a sports bar. And then they just like to watch the eye candy. You know, a lot of dancers be, you know, half naked and stuff like that. So I don't look at chilling as a bad thing. Another thing, when you look at "I'm just chilling," now you have some customers that will say they're just chilling, but honestly they already have someone. But they're not going to say that, because then they'll make you feel bad, you know. So like one customer, when they say they chilling, and then when you go back around and they're already talking to another dancer, there you go. Another meaning, a third meaning, you know, like I said, chilling is it has a lot of obstacles. Like it could be negative things and it could be positive things. Now, another negative thing, when someone say they're chilling, you know, that means they got someone else or they're not interested in you. And that's it, you know. One word that I don't like when people say is "I'm good," because, you know, that can come off as disrespectful, and it's just how you say it. Like, you know, when you talk to people, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So if somebody say like, "Oh, I'm good," but with an attitude, now you know, okay, all right, we not about to, that will be my first and last time talking to that person. You know what I'm saying? Or if someone say it calm, that means they still not interested. That word, I hate that word, "I'm good." All right, another con, guys, when it comes to working the nightlife, you deal with, like I said, the disrespect, the VIP sections. You're not always going to get picked in the VIP section, guys, so don't take it the wrong way. You may have customers, they already have their favorites, and not only that, they already know the girls. Some of them know the dancers, and you can't get upset if some of the dancers have their clientele. If you don't have any clientele, then you're not going to make any money in the club unless you really, 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 really hustle very hard, you know, and build your clientele up. So you have a lot of girls who have clientele, they bring their guys to the club, and they get into the VIP sections, and you won't get picked. And now, when that happens, you don't have to feel some type of way if you don't get picked in the section, you know. So another con that people don't talk about is you tip in and you also tip out, and it's genuine to tip out at the end of a nightlife club. You know, you're always supposed to tip out. There's a lot of girls, they never tip out, And you know what happens when you don't tip out? You don't get respected, you know? So like, always tip out when you leave. You always tip the house mom, the DJ, you tip everyone, because you know why? They're gonna make sure you're good. They're gonna look out for you, you know? So house moms always look out for you, especially in the locker room, and they make sure you're good. You know what I'm saying? You want to stay on their good side and become their favorite. So that's another thing people don't talk about. You always tip out the DJ. Always tip out the DJ, because you know why? A lot of girls don't like tipping the DJ, but I feel like you're supposed to always tip the DJ every time when you leave the nightclub. Because why? The DJ will look out for you when you go on stage, and he's going to make sure that you make money on stage. And a lot of girls don't understand that. And another thing, a con, you always go on stage, but you know what the thing is about going on stage, guys? You should enjoy going on stage. Some girls don't like going on stage, but I feel like it's a good thing to go on stage, because not only does the customer see you, because they haven't seen you throughout the whole night on the floor, they actually see you on stage, and they see how you look, and they see you dancing. When you come off the stage, 9 out of 10, you're going to have a customer that grab you over and want to spend money on you. So that's why I said, guys, it's really good to go on stage. Not only that, you may have a customer that just want to throw money on you on stage. So you have to, when you go on stage, you can't just be like, have that attitude, like, I don't feel like going on stage type of attitude, because guess what? Now people's not going to spend money on you. You know what I'm saying? And yes, you go on stage a lot. It is a workout. That's another con, but that's part of being an entertainer, guys. You can't just look cute and be on the floor. Like, that's not going to cut it. People want to see girls dance, and yeah, people never talk about that, and that's another thing. Another con that I'm going to talk about is you have to watch out for your safety. So some clubs, you're gonna have security. They don't even walk you to your car, and or like, let's say if you're taking a Uber, they don't care. Sometimes you could work at a nightclub and it's a dark alley. You may have a crazy customer stalking you and shit like that because you didn't pay him no mind in the club, and he'll be waiting for you outside. Okay, you want to work at clubs where you have good security and you're cool with them, and make sure you tip the security, guys, because tipping the security is your safety key. They make sure you good, you know what I'm saying? They walk you to your car, they make sure you good. So you always want to get in with the security and make sure, because when you don't tip the security, they ain't gonna make sure you good, and then you start, you know, safety is really important, guys. Very. You may have somebody plotting on you, or it could be a customer. People say, oh, girls plot on you. Yes, they do, but then you may have customers plotting on you. You can have a customer that spent money on you, they want their money back, so they're gonna be waiting for you outside. If you lie to a customer and tell them that you're gonna link up with them, that's another con, guys. When y'all talk about selling guys dreams and shit like that, like, one thing you should never do, and a lot of girls do this, and this is what messes you up, is lying to a customer. If you know that you're not going to link up with a customer that same night because they want to link up with you, don't sit up there and lie to them and have them waiting for you outside, guys, because that is a no-no. That stuff like that, I've seen in the past get people caught up. You know, something happened to girls. You know, guys don't play about their money, and I got, like, look at it like this. You know, guys work very hard for their money, so I'm not about to play with someone. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that in a nightclub. Lie to people. Like, just don't do it. You know, you're not going to link up with a guy the next day. Just don't waste this time. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if you're not going to link up with the guy the same night, he's still going to spend money on you regardless, especially if he likes your vibe. Simple. People never talk about that, but that's another thing. You cannot play with customers in the club. It's supposed to be entertainment, and you need to make them feel comfortable, because 9 out of 10, a lot of the guys that come in the club, guys, most of them are either married, they got wives, you know, some of them just want a companionship, or they got a baby mom, or they got another girlfriend, they got another side chick. Listen, everybody has something, but you already know why guys come to the entertainment, to see half-naked girls, and you know they want, you know they want what they want. But anyways, nobody never talks about that, and that's really serious, because I looked on here, YouTube, nobody never mentions that, and that's a con. My thing is never lie to customers, never. Another con that girls do that I don't do is when a customer get drunk you take advantage of them. And that's another con. You should never take advantage of a drunk customer, guys, because my thing is this: I prefer talking to someone who's sober and know, you know, what they're talking about. You know, they actually know that they're talking to you and they know they like you. Someone that's drunk, they can keep cashing out money. I've seen one time a girl took a drunk customer's card and kept swiping it and stuff, and I was just shaking my head, and she was like, oh yeah, this is what you do all the time, right? This was in one of the clubs I worked at in Miami. She kept taking advantage of him, using his card to swipe off money. That's death. You don't want to steal from a customer, guys. Death, okay? So the next day, I guess he was sober. He was wondering what happened to his money. The dancer, the entertainer, she used his money and then she just left. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is serious. That shit can really, something can happen to girls who do stuff like that. So I think a week later, she ended up not working at that club. A lot of girls feel like it's cool to take advantage of drunk people. No. I remember one time I worked at this other club. I think it was in New York, and this guy dropped all his money on the floor. $100 bills. Guess what? Any other dancer would have picked that shit. Would have picked that up. But me, I don't do that. I knew that he was drunk. He dropped his wallet on the floor and his $100 bills came. I put the money back in the wallet and I said, you need some water. I went and got him some water so he can calm down, and he was drunk, and I walked away because you don't want to take advantage of drunk people in the club. Me, I despise drunk people. If they're drunk, I offer them water. I'll have the bartender get them water, or I'll make them pay for them to get a bottle of water because they need it. They'll be like, oh no, I'm good. I'm like, no, you're not good. You're not good. I don't tolerate drunk people. Another con that people don't talk about in the club is, I've seen this a lot, I think it's related to the other con, is when dancers steal money. Yes, guys, that's a thing in the club. They steal from customers, because I've seen it one time. Just because a customer, you're in a section, a customer cashes out a lot of singles, that don't mean they're going to throw all the singles at you. That don't mean that. So I've seen this one thing where it was a dancer dancing over there. She ends up picking up the singles that the customers have and threw it on herself. No, you don't do that, because that was a problem when that happened. You let the customers take the singles and throw it on you. You don't pick up their singles and throw it on yourself. What if they didn't want to spend that on you? There's a difference when they give you your singles. Here you go. Here's $100. Make it rain. Throw it on yourself. That's different. But you don't take their singles and just throw it on yourself. That's stealing. What if they didn't want to spend $200 on you? What if they only wanted to spend $100 on you, and then you taking another? What if they only wanted to spend $100 and you throwing fucking freaking $300 on yourself? Like, make that make sense, guys. Like, make it make sense. Another con that girls don't understand is that I don't judge girls and stuff like that, but you have, you know, the girls who do the extras and stuff like that. People don't talk about that. You make $20,000 in the club, right? You see these girls making $20,000 in the club. What is it, 10K? They say you make that in one night. Don't believe that. You do not make that in one night, because a lot of girls, they talk to celebrities and artists and stuff like that, and they get in with them, and then that's how they make their money. But not only that, they're doing extras, and girls never talk about the extras that they do outside the club. So you're not going to make $20,000 a night at a nightlife. Don't believe the foolery. The most average you will make, if you're a good hustler, is $3K a night, and that's if you know how to hustle. $25K a night, that's if you know how to hustle. $1,500 a night, that's if you know how to hustle. And another con is slow days, guys. Girls can't tolerate slow days. What I would suggest on slow days, you may have your regulars that come to the club. Regulars are people that come to the club every day. They see your face every day. You see their face every day. And they come every day. What you want to do when it's slow nights in the club is be nice to them. You don't want to, like, give them an attitude and stuff like that. Still be nice, because at the end of the day, they will show you love. And you want to be nice to everyone. Set your prices low as possible, because guess what? That adds up. You don't want to be having high prices on slow nights you know, because that's not gonna work. This one girl said, oh, I'm not charging this and that, but it's a slow night. Would you rather have money on a slow night, or would you rather not have any money on a slow night? You get what I'm saying? When it's a slow night, those are the nights to be extra nice to customers in the club. You don't want to have a stink attitude. And then guess what? At the end of the day, even if it's a slow night, you'll still succeed and, you know, make your money. I think I talk about all the cons because I know it's a lot of positives. I don't want to really talk about all the positives because you guys already know. Yes, it's tax-free money. They don't take off taxes over there. Aside from online jobs, yes, you do have to do taxes every year. But then that's when you write off tax write-offs, and that's what I do every year, to do tax write-offs. So I'll probably do another video about the online money. That, you know, that's a different whole nother subject. But a lot of girls like to go this route and do the nightclub route, and they always listening to all these influencers on YouTube and everything. They make a lot of money, but they're not explaining how they're making this type of money. And this is my raw and uncut. I'm trying to see if I left out something else. Oh yeah, another con is, guys, you're gonna have everyone trying to get at you that work there. Like, you're gonna have the DJs, you're gonna have everyone trying to get at you and stuff like that. So you have to know how to handle that, you know. You don't want to be the type to be, you know, I'm not judging anyone, but when this happens, because I've seen this happen before, when it was a dancer messing around with the staff there and stuff, and not everybody's talking, and then everybody's in your business, and you don't need that. So you want to just keep it professional and go to work and just keep it professional, okay? You guys enjoyed this chit chat talking video. I'm just talking about the cons, the pros. The pros is not really much to talk about because everybody always talk about the pros, of course. The pros, also, you need to have your hair, your nails done, your makeup done. Everything needs to be on point when you're working the nightlife, and people don't understand that because you can't come to work looking like you just woke up, or the next door neighbor, because guess what? I say this so many times. Guys are coming for a fantasy. They don't want to come and see their next door neighbor. They want to see a fantasy. So you need to look good and entertain them for them to spend your money. Some girls say they don't make money, but look how your hair look. Look how you don't even have nothing on. So you have to just always come on point. Okay, guys? I hope you guys enjoyed this little mini session of me talking. Yeah, I've been talking for a good 22 minutes. And again, guys, let me show you my outfit. I don't know if it's gonna show, but I will step back so you guys can see again how the outfit look. This is the front, this is the side. Okay, and yes, guys, so guys, this is going to conclude my talking video of the pros and cons of working the nightlife, and I wanted to get this off my chest because I was like, I prefer to do this as a talking video, guys, so maybe it's more understandable. And then I wanted to do it without my makeup on. As you guys can see, I'm not wearing no makeup on at all. And let me know your comments and thoughts. Whatever I say, is it facts, guys, or I'm just talking bullcrap? I don't know what I'm talking about. Let me know, guys. Comment below. I would love thoughts, you know. And listen, I take criticism too, so this is part of YouTube. So let me know, guys. Comment, like, and subscribe for my next channel. I will be doing a book review for my next video. Okay, guys, stay tuned.